I know.
It's actually ridiculous.
You have a life.
Are we going to the chief
You're
office?
gonna go to the ship, yeah, go, you know where to go.
Yeah.
You know where to go.
How you doing? This is my first time being in here since.
Now, the cameras are supposed to be getting smaller, but it looks like you came out with a big one today.
Sheriff took his
They
photos
want
with
us to
him.
live stream. I like those big ones.
The nerve.
Hey, where the photos, Christine?
Where's what?
His photos.
I don't know, ask him.
Where's those photos up
Where
there?
he took, oh, the other sheriff took them.
That's what I mean. Exactly what I mean.
He stole them.
I thought that was part of Martin County's property.
No, this was, here, listen, I'm trying to hide this thing here. Maybe Greg, you could set me up a background?
Okay.
I'm trying.
What do you want to hide?
This fire.
It won't show.
Okay. And he'll be right out. I don't have any paperwork yet, I'm trying to get it, they just made this file today. But I think I'm gonna have some photos of some of the stuff that came out. What was I gonna say?
The whole crew.
Yeah.
Like everything, like $430,000.
What?
Wheelbarrow got out.
About a half a million. Go on.
This is very fast.
I'm sorry.
He seems like a pro. Oh, he's a pro. Yeah, probably the bigger professional. I know. You got that cop mentality, don't know if they would didn't watch you. And you should. Is that better open or closed?
Probably close.
Social media is the devil.
Financial aid in college, they watch that shit.
Do they really?
Oh my gosh.
Do they?
At UM, this guy, David there, I'll never forget him. He mentioned it. He was like, you should be careful what's being like posted on Facebook.
Yes. Well, the only thing you're gonna see on mine are wiener dogs. You know that?
Your dog.
Yeah.
Your babies.
That's it. Maybe a rose garden, maybe a couple steaks grilling. That's about it.
One thing I post, look, other than my stories, if I have to, Miami Heat.
Miami Heat. I did watch the hockey game last night.
Oh my gosh, I did too. My relatives are from Canada. They were definitely,
They kept me up too late.
Oh, that was a great
It
hockey
was
game.
very
I
good.
really wanted to.
I know. Yep.
Sport that I like to watch is hockey. It is better in person.
yes, it's
Yes.
like night and day in person.
I've never been to a hockey.
It's
Oh my
fantastic.
God.
Oh, it's so
I've heard
fun.
so much.
Oh.
My daughter went to the.
I had problems following the puck.
Oh my
Uh-oh.
gosh.
See, that's why it's hard to do on TV.
I know.
You gotta watch it.
I had to watch who's moving fast.
Oh, it's yes,
We covered the final.
Yeah.
Before my daughter was born, my cousins from Canada, they all bought her skates. Hey, I mean, we knew it was gonna be a boy or girl. Didn't matter. They bought
It's like
skates,
hockey?
sticks.
All right, the sheriff's here. Sheriff is here.
I'm having the people that actually did the work stand behind me here in a few minutes.
All right.
And we're gonna do it live, right? So if you ask questions, I'll probably repeat the questions and go back. Just,
On one station,
what's that?
one station going on.
One's doing it live.
Or the social. Or if they gonna stand behind you, you should pictures of it.
Okay, I'll move up. Or Greg, if you wanna.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they have like space.
Where? Hmm?
You'd be good here, right?
Do they know where to go?
I'm gonna call them again.
Oh.
Are y'all busy today, or is it a? Oh, stop being superstitious.
It's Friday.
It's Friday. Yeah, I know how that feels.
Yeah, the bus crashed this morning.
Yeah, I know. Thankfully, that ended
Yeah.
not as bad as it could have.
You're right.
Let me call these guys real quick. Can you?
Yeah, watch your language, your mind.
Are you guys on your way up here?
Get pictures of us.
Oh my gosh.
They did that.
They shot like
all the media.
Oh, I love that.
Be like, hey, I'm not on that. Why am I picking out up there?
Oh, good, you're.
Start printing out your own.
Yeah.
Yes,
All right.
I'll be back. And I'm gonna go behind you.
Okay. That's how it was in the. Okay. All right. You want me to shut this? They won't come in. So, Pearl, we're going to arrange you guys behind me. Where do you want them, Christine? And do you want to rearrange the flags?
So Greg, we're gonna have
Yeah.
to pull the flags back, so,
Tell me where to put them.
and then there's, just have them in the center, right?
And wherever the sheriff's gonna be.
We'll put him in the center,
Yeah.
and we're gonna put Kent on one side. And how many are in the shot?
Just
Perlman?
have you right around here.
Okay.
That works for you guys?
Yeah.
ID's off?
If he's here,
Okay.
the flag will be like out
Oh,
of
you don't want that?
No, the flag will be like out of his head. So,
Oh,
How they form.
yeah,
there we go.
yeah, that should be.
You're gonna stand next to the sheriff here, and right here. You stand in the center
right.
here. Back, back, back. Can you come over here?
You want me right here, Greg, or you too far away from me?
You guys got it?
You want me to step up or step back?
You come on.
Up.
Where everybody good? Everybody good? You good?
I'm good.
You good?
Tess, can you hear me?
We're good.
Okay. Who do you want me to look at? I got you, Angela. Yes.
Yep, you start.
Sheriff, explain what took place, what happened, and when did it happen?
Well, let me start off first by introducing the individuals that actually did the work, great work, and solved this case. To my left is Detective Ryan Perlman. He's been the lead investigator on this case. And then to my right is crime analyst Kent Smith, who also worked hand in hand with Detective Perlman and really figured this case out. I'll go back to the beginning. January 19th, we received a call of an abandoned vehicle on Highway 714 in Palm City. Our deputies responded out there and soon learned that this high-end vehicle had been used to leave the victim's house. This was the victim's car that was recovered, to leave the victim's house in the Cobblestone, Stewart West area after committing a high-end significant burglary here in Martin County. And what I mean by high-end is approximately $450,000 worth of goods were stolen out of that house. At that time, we were working on a one-day delay. We realized that the burglary happened on the 18th. These detectives and crime analysts started pooling surveillance footage from the area, and they learned pretty quick that they were dealing with professional criminals in this case. The house was hit between midnight and 3 o'clock in the morning, was burglarized in that time frame. And when that took place, the alarm was cut off and all the surveillance was shut down. As crime scene processed the house, they realized that there were no fingerprints or any significant physical evidence left behind. And at that time, we were working with very little. I'm going to be really careful not to get into our investigative methods, but using cutting-edge investigative techniques, these two individuals behind me were able to zero in on an individual who was arrested yesterday, and I'll get to that here in a minute, and actually begin the process of unraveling this organization. So right now we have one arrest, but we have information that we recovered from a search warrant yesterday that will hopefully lead us to solving the rest of this case. What we know now at this point, though, is on January 18th, these individuals came up from the Miami area, parked along I-95 by the Cobblestone Stewart West community, walked across the fence, which was kind of broken down there, through the golf course, and then 1 mile through the neighborhood to our victim's house. At that point, they spent 3 hours in the house, going through the different property in the house, recovering, stealing high-end bags, handbags, high-end jackets, high-end clothing, shoes, and cash from the house, so they knew what they were looking for. Before stealing the victim's car, using that car to drive through the front guard gate, take it out to Highway 714, transfer the items from the stolen car to their vehicle, which they had changed the tag on to try to disguise what they were doing, and then took the stolen items and their vehicle back south into Miami. Yesterday, because of their fine work, they were able to do a search warrant in Lee County, which, again, let me give a shout out to Lee County. They spent a lot of time working with our investigators, helping us make this case. During a search warrant yesterday in Lee County, we were able to arrest one defendant who we know definitively was in that house and committed the burglary in the Stewart West area. Inside of the house, they recovered items likely from different burglaries from around the state and some items from our burglary. Unfortunately, $450,000 worth of items was not recovered, but we were able to make a good case in this case, work with Lee County and the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office to continue working our investigation. So right now we have one person in custody. He was obstinate and arrogant when they encountered him, lawyered up right away, was arrogant about being arrested and brought back here to Martin County on a $1.25 million bond, and was kind of laughing yesterday. Yesterday I was kind of laughing though watching his disposition. He is a career criminal, used to the revolving door system that he has encountered down in Miami-Dade, but he does not realize yet, it hasn't sunk in yet, that he got off at the wrong exit there, off of 95, committed a high-end burglary, and we're serious about prosecuting him and making sure he does prison time in this case.
So is he part of a ring?
At this time, we believe so. One of the things we have not definitively figured out is why the house that they hit in Palm City. How do they know the house was there? How do they know what was in that house? There's a couple theories, one of which I'll kind of throw out there. Our victim is heavily involved in social media and putting information out online, so we have been cautioning people to be cautious about what they post, but we don't know the nexus, the connection yet. Yesterday, netted our detectives a gold mine of information that they are now sorting through to continue to figure out who these other individuals are in this case. Again, he didn't drive himself up there. We know he was dropped off. We know where he was dropped off, and we're working to prove who the other individuals are in this case.
How did you know the house was burglarized?
So initially, all we responded to on the 19th, January 19th, was an abandoned vehicle on Highway 714. Our road patrol deputies got there, ran the tag, made contact with the owner, who ended up being the victim of the burglary. The owner at that time had gone on family vacation, I believe in Colorado, and that started the sequence of events that led us to his house. When our deputies got to the house, they realized that entry had been made into the house through, I believe, a back window, and the victim had his property manager come out and allow our deputies access to the house. Once they gained access into the house, you could tell immediately that it had been ransacked and a serious burglary had taken place.
You said that one of your things about social media. Was it the suspect that was a high profile on social media? What were you gathering from that?
What I was saying with that is our
Could you continue?
I can, yes. So our victim in this case puts a lot of information on social media. They're kind of a social media influencer. But we, one of our theories is maybe they were able to figure out who our victim was and where they lived through social media. We're trying to vet that out right now with the information in the item seized yesterday in the search warrant.
How many other people do you think were involved or are involved in that?
We don't know. Again, it's a web. We've been dealing with this traveling criminal phenomena for a long time. We've highlighted that over and over with you, all the media. We put it on our Facebook page, and we know at this point we have the driver of the vehicle who we're working on that now, and maybe one other person that walked in and did the burglary with our defendant. But then you got to get into where were these items stolen? Did they go to a pawn shop? Were they stolen on the street? How are these items being fenced? So there's a lot of tentacles to try to unravel in this case.
You know, this victim in the case, it sounds like they were doing a lot of things to keep their home secure. They're in a guarded neighborhood, they had security cameras. What would you tell the public, you know, to kind of protect themselves from something like this?
We would reiterate, keeping your alarms current, which you've highlighted. He had good alarms, he had good camera systems, he lived in a secure gated community. Social media is something that I have already alluded to. You need to be really cautious what you put out there. Being flashy now in South Florida, you can absolutely make yourself a target. When people come and work on your house, be careful what they're exposed to, what they see. You know, we're following up on a lot of leads, but we have not quite figured out why that house in that neighborhood. To back into that a little bit, keep in mind they got dropped off on I-95. They walked a mile almost to the back of the neighborhood and picked out that one specific house. And then to score almost $500,000 worth of merchandise out of that house. These thieves did their homework. They knew what they were going after. They knew where they were going. In the search warrant yesterday, Detective Perlman behind me seized a drone. We have not gone through all that information, but one of our theories also is that they were able to do some surveillance on the neighborhood prior to doing this burglary. So these are not individuals that are just shaking door handles. They are organized criminals. They know what they're looking for. They have the resources to come commit a high-end burglary, and then they have the infrastructure and the background to fence these stolen goods.
Sure, could this be, I may be a stretch, but we've been hearing stories about athletes, they're not at home, people know they're at home and they're breaking into their homes. This kind of falls in that category?
We have done some BOLOs. We're working on BOLOs to other agencies that have had similar burglaries, and we have talked to other agencies that have had some high-end burglaries with athletes, but we can't definitively connect the two yet.
I'm sorry if I missed this, but you said he was a career criminal in Miami-Dade, and the search warrant was issued in Lee County. Does he live in Lee County and he was hanging out in Miami?
Yes, so back to the traveling criminal phenomena that we've been talking about. Miami-Dade is the hub of activity where they've been committing crimes that we can see looking at their criminal histories and associates. But he lives in Lee County, and then he's doing a burglary in Martin County. So you can see how these individuals have learned how to frustrate our efforts in doing our job in law enforcement by bouncing all around South Florida and making it difficult for us to figure out their patterns. Thankfully, we have great agencies. Again, Lee County stepped up immediately, helped us do a lot of investigative surveillance on the house. Miami-Dade has also been a significant ally in this case. So we are going to overcome their criminal trends by working together with other agencies and solving these crimes. Wherever they may occur, we'll track them down and make arrests.
You said that this is a traveling crew, you know, you have one of them already. Is there a threat to the public at this time?
No, we don't believe there's any threat to the public. These are not violent burglars. However, if they had encountered you in their house, I'm sure they would have been a handful. But in their criminal histories, we see that they are the type that do pre-surveillance, and they're extremely thoughtful about not getting encountered as they commit crimes. So they're taking the path of least resistance, but they're also scoring large on the backside with what they're stealing.
So would the Miami connection be where they're selling the stuff that they're stealing, or?
We don't know. Our theory is yes, but we don't know exactly where they're selling it. In the house yesterday, and we'll show you some photos here in a few minutes, there were some high-end bags that we believe were stolen from our victim. Our victim will be here later today to identify some of their items. But again, what we were to recover pales in comparison to what was actually stolen from the house.
Could you walk me through again? The victim gets this phone call saying your car is
Yeah.
outside. He's like, what's going on? What was your reaction? Did he know what he said? Or?
And yeah, he was confused. He had just left for Colorado to go skiing with his family on a couple of week vacation. He had his property manager help us go back to the house and figure out why the car was where it was. But really quickly into that conversation, he realized that he had been the victim of a significant burglary. So, of course, he has, rightfully so, followed the proper range of emotions from feeling like they're violated to being outraged to wanting revenge, and I don't blame him for anything. His personal space was violated. He is a victim that is extremely, it actually helped us in this case, extremely particular about his house being clean and in orderly fashion, and it helped us in this case identify what belonged and what didn't belong because of his orderliness within his own house.
And the suspect's still behind bars?
He's behind bars. He's over here in our jail. We brought him back from Lee County yesterday. His bond is $1.25 million. and he was ordered to see the judge this morning. Even if he could have made bond yesterday, the judge wanted to talk to him this morning.
This morning or the second?
Whenever, I believe it was this morning.
I apologize if you already said this, but what was the big break in this case to catch the suspect?
These two individuals standing behind me using cutting-edge technology, which I'm going to be careful not to highlight on the media, because we want to continue using them and we don't want to educate these criminals. These are educated criminals that pay attention to our techniques. They have been adjusting. We can tell by this investigation that they are extremely well up to speed on our techniques, and they made a few mistakes, and that's what got them caught.
Was it shocking for you to find a drone in that house?
Well, I wasn't there, but Detective Perlman did highlight that, we've been trying to figure out how they got where they were in that neighborhood, and the drone could explain some of those incidents. And it's not shocking. Unfortunately, we're starting to see drones used in different crimes, and it is alarming that, yes, it is alarming that they're potentially were flying over the neighborhood and looking at different houses and scoping the neighborhood prior to. We don't know that definitively, but it's a possibility.
You know, you mentioned they took the wrong exit. Is there any message to anyone else that wants to come up here and do something similar?
Where we are the wrong exit, and we have detectives and crime analysts that will do whatever it takes to solve a case. And we are also the 19th Circuit, which means we're not a revolving door system up here. If we arrest you coming up here, committing high-end burglaries on our residents or even low-end burglaries, we're going to do our best to make sure that you get locked up and you do prison time. This is not a revolving door system that we're dealing with up here. So I think he'll learn that soon enough. Yesterday he was smug. Give him a couple more days sitting in the Martin County Jail and he'll realize that he'd messed up. Any other questions?
No.
Any questions for the...
I was going to say, can I get their names?
Yes.
So you could have your names and spellings.
Sure.
Sorry, Brian Perlman, R-Y-A-N, and then P-E-A-R-L-M-A-N.
Perfect.
Kent, K-E-N-T, Smith.
Perfect. All right, thank you.
Good?
We good? You guys good?
I want
Angela,
the
did
dog.
you have anything?
Yeah, the dog.
Yes.
Has a dog question. Go ahead.
Was it missing dog, I believe? Are you working the case, and what do you know right so far?
I was briefed on the case last night that there is now a second dog missing from a sitting facility in Palm City. I don't know a lot of details other than it was a small dog, and I don't know if you already know the answer to this question, but the victim of that missing dog is the same victim from this high-end burglary that we just got done discussing. So, yes.
So the dog was missing, I guess when the burglary happened in the 18th, so the dog's been missing since the 18th of January?
Not that, no. I think the dog recently came up missing from this sitting facility. Our detectives have gone out there this morning to try to help track back and get more details. I don't have those details yet because they have not come back to the office. But the owner of that dog is the victim of this crime that I just got done highlighting.
What sitting facility are you speaking of?
I'll get you the name.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
How's that work? Tie that together for me.
I can't yet. That's why I thought Angela maybe knew what she was asking. We don't think there's any connection between the case that was solved yesterday and the missing dog. This is the second missing dog. It's my understanding from this facility. Again, we're not sure. So our detectives are out there this morning trying to figure out the connection and what happened. We found out, or at least I found out through Christine, who let me know because she saw it on social media. So we're playing catch up in this case.
So I'm on the right page. It seems like the dog that lived at that house with the owner was taken to the facility to watch, and the dog is missing.
Is missing. And it's what I've been told at this point is that the dogs were out on a walk and this dog was off a leash and just vanished off into the woods or an area out there in Palm City. So I know there's a lot of public interest in this case with individuals personally out there looking for the dogs. I know the victim's been out there looking for his dog, and we are now out there assisting, trying to figure out why the dog went missing, how the dog went missing, and where it might be, and try to help locate the dog.
Do you know when the dog was left there?
I do not.
And now there's a second dog missing.
So there was a dog missing prior, and our animal control went out there, And it just seemed to be the dog was also being walked and ran off, and there was nothing nefarious that had taken place. Now that there's a second dog missing, of course, we're paying close attention to it. Aside from the fact that this dog belongs to the victim of almost a $500,000 theft in Palm City.
Is it common for the sheriff's office to handle a case like this?
Which, the burglary?
The missing dog.
Our animal control will get calls and we'll try to follow up, but missing animals, no. You get cats and dogs that go missing. We'll put it out on the Humane Society Facebook page. We'll put it out on our page sometimes, but we generally don't get involved. That's why we weren't heavily involved in the first case, but now with 2 dogs missing, we want to be thorough and make sure that nothing criminal has taken place. If it's an accident, it's an accident, but we want to make sure that we can do our best to investigate it, make sure it doesn't happen again, and if we can, return this dog to their owner.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
This
Good work
picture,
again.
What do we got, the
We're
picture?
gonna, we want to show you a picture of one of the bags. Just give you a little.
And that,
So like this is one of the bags that was taken. We have some interest in,
is there gonna be more photos
for
of
whatever,
that?
getting this
Yeah.
out there. Like, so if there's a way you guys are able to add a picture of this bag to it, this is one of them that was stolen.
What kind of bag?
There you go.
$50,000 limited edition bag.
Yeah.
That's like a Louis Vuitton duffel, but like.
It's a Louis Vuitton bag.
Oh, okay, keep it up.
How much is that worth? About?
I mean, tens of thousands of dollars.
Honestly, I'd have to
thing
look
is
at
insane.
my Excel sheet that I have for all of it, but we have some interest in getting that information out to the public for this specific bag. I won't go into the details why, but
Well, you're looking for
if
that
it's
bag.
possible to put that out there too, that would possibly help.
Do you need me to stick that up on the wall? You guys,
Yeah.
we need to hold that.
Where do you want it?
That bag is.
Where do you guys want it, on the table, so you can shoot it downward, or how do you want it?
Yeah.
Let's put it here, so you guys can shoot that. And I think he's got some more when
You
that
wanna put the
stops.
other one?
These were like other bags that were taken.
It was a nice bag.
However you guys wanna do it, it's fine, but if you can get that out, like that's stuff that was taken, you can fold it, you can do whatever you want.
And again, that's just a fraction.
That's a fraction of what was taken.
I know. It's a problem.
That's just those are some of the other bags that were taken, but
Thank you.
So that was the bag that was taken?
that was the actual bag that was taken, but I just printed out a big picture
But
of it.
he had a picture of his bag?
They had a picture of they had several pictures of their closet.
But
Oh.
need to get better like mom did.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I wanna do like
I got you. Like, look at my.
Yeah, look at my dog's screamer.
What do you want, 5
The pancakes I just made. That's what I did.
That's pretty good.
But it's not like
Let's go back to this. If you say,
trying to get 20's
we
pretty
can
fast,
go
bro.
when we go to town.
Well,
I
we can
come
run
back
out
and say, he ran off. I'm be pissed.
That's
she's
so
under
funny.
20. I think
Do
she
you remember
in college she
this
was
guy who had a big picture?
like nuts. Something she was
That's a whole
ridiculous.
Something nefarious, and then the dog was missing. Remember that? It's at that Palm City place.
Okay.
He put out bolos, he went on the news, he contacted you guys. I think you guys know the story. His name was Ralph.
Okay.
It was a big Boston or French name.
Jess, how was your review?
And this is a French name.
Oh, that's a second to get rid of that. Wait, that's,
So the owner of that facility has shut down our social media.
see, that sounds something.
But to make the connection, it's gonna be, I mean, that was new, that was just.
You wouldn't stabilize it.
Social media,
About the dog?
everything.
Because he thought so tall. You think he'll talk to us? I'm sure he will.
Dog is more than willing to talk to them.
Oh, he's willing to talk.
The victim?
Coming here? What time is he coming here?
Oh no, I'm saying if you guys wanted to reach out to them,
Okay, but
whatever
it's-
he's-
He can give you permission to get in. If the owner gives you permission to get in, you get in.
I was gonna say, is there a
Yeah.
way we can
Dog.
get permission?
You go, if he
Do we
gives
have
you
his number? Is his
permission,
number on the report?
we'll get
let
you.
me
Okay.